Welcome to another episode of Den Excelsior. This is the live weekly podcast discussing the latest Marvel happenings across all media. But even if it's not from the House of Ideas, if it's big and related to superheroes, it's on our radars. This episode is being recorded on the evening of Friday, March 5th, 2021. Hi, my name is Dennis, and with me, I've got a distinguished nerd panel. He's stuck in an abusive relationship with the MCU. It's Frank.
Yeah, the MCU definitely beats me. It beats me, and then I keep coming back for more. I'm processing my grief like Wanda.
But it's important to have that here. You know, I like to have all representations, of fans, because you still love Marvel, So
I do. Marvel can change. I know it.
All right, and then he's a recent graduate with a hospitality degree during a year-long pandemic. It's Ricky.
Heyo,
Ricky. I think this podcast needs to start paying for you soon.
I know. I mean, that degree's about as useless as Pietro during that fight. So.
That was a sick burn and a spoiler. I think you burned yourself. Actually, that was pretty good.
Yeah,
that was classy. Yeah. And then I'm really excited, guys, because we have two guests today to join us for just talking about all the news, and especially to talk about the season finale of WandaVision. Our first guest we have is, I would say, probably the most optimistic of the fans of this show, and a regular person in our comment section. It's Clarke.
Hello.
Welcome
feel
back.
A very fair assessment, as I'm ready to duke it out with the optimism tree today.
And then, welcome back. And just before we keep chatting, let's get our second guest, who I would say would be, he's described himself as a filthy casual, and I would say he probably was most on the mark for where WandaVision would end up by the end of this whole season. Welcome back, Oliver.
Thank you. Thank you.
We're not quite ready to talk about the show yet, but I'm glad you guys.
Should I break out the recorder?
Yes.
No. Don't do that, please.
Don't
You gotta pay for that license.
Don't play music that I don't own the rights to on my streaming podcast, please. Do not do that. In fact, also mute your devices and make sure we don't have other stuff going on too.
Side note, there's like a Queen Rock Band mobile game that I was playing today, and it's super weird seeing like weird anime Queen Freddie Mercury on a phone.
I mean that is quite the side note, considering this is the Marvel podcast and we didn't even prompt you on that one, man.
I heard the song.
All right. Well, do we have anything else? Do you guys have anything else you guys want to share, like about Marvel in your week before we talk about this episode?
See, Marvel in my week. I started playing Civil War, the video game, which is Ultimate Alliance 2. Started playing Ultimate Alliance 2 again. I've already played it before, but I'm just going for the trophies this time around.
Nice.
Is that based on Civil War?
Yeah. You can go two paths. You could follow. Well, the first it starts off in like some kind of weird secret war thing, and then it goes to it kind of branches off where you can follow Cap and you can follow Iron Man. You could choose which one you want to follow.
I remember playing that game as a kid and just not paying attention and skipping every cutscene. So.
Yeah, it is definitely something that I skip cutscenes on nowadays. The voice acting is not great. The gameplay is not great. The Ultimate Alliance 3, it makes me appreciate Ultimate Alliance 3, even though I don't play that very often. But it's a lot smoother of a game. Ultimate Alliance 3 is than 2, and obviously 1. So,
how about our guests? You guys have anything going on? I mean, other than listening to us speculate all week long about WandaVision?
Well, if in quasi spoilers, the costume for Shang-Chi supposedly was shown on a Lego set. So if you want to search that down, you can.
Ricky, is he spoiling your news right now?
I didn't have it in the news, but I can pull up the photo.
Oh no, that's scary.
Oh no, that's why I would just
don't do it, Ricky. Don't spoil just for the sake of spoiling.
But 2 more, just a few more weeks until Falcon and Winter Soldier. So the
2 more weeks. Yep.
2 more weeks. So
So I saw that photo too, and I don't know if that looks. Is that accurate to Shang-Chi's costume?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's fairly accurate. It looks like he looks like he's a DLC on a Mortal Kombat game. Like, to be honest, I don't know if I hope that's not being racist or anything, but he does look like a Mortal Kombat character.
I'm not going to judge it by a half picture on a Lego box. So I'll wait till we see it in action.
Is Shang-Chi a bad guy?
No.
But
I do appreciate that you just let the audience have a really good baseline of where your Marvel knowledge is. Thank you for that one. I really appreciate that.
If you would have asked me, I would have said he's the fat Asian guy in Doctor Strange.
Oh man, I am so ready
another
to do this
person who
with you
didn't
guys.
show up in this episode.
I'm so ready to do this with you guys. Okay, stop spoiling, Ricky. Stop spoiling. You can wait. You have a job to do. But before you do your job, let me finish doing my job.
I will just also say, just a quick announcement, because they announced today that Disneyland might be open in a few months for the people that want to. But the real question is how much more construction do they still need for Avengers headquarters? I have no idea.
That's done, right?
I don't know, because they stopped work during COVID as well.
I could have swore I saw that it's done, but the Spider-Man rides, like the ride's not done, but the actual.
That's because that's a Sony ride.
It is Tom Holland, which I was
right.
shocked when I heard that news.
Ricky,
yes.
Let's leave the news for a moment. Let's
all right.
Let me do my thing.
Okay.
We have a fun show planned. I swear it is structured though, so we have to get through that part first. We are all dying to talk about WandaVision episode 9. That's what we're gonna do. I promise. We're gonna get there. But before we do that, we've got some news and rumors to discuss, and stick around afterwards for our last check-in with our WandaVision edition of Multiverse Bingo. As a reminder, this is also your chance to pick our brains with any marvelous trivia or points of confusion that you may have. We'll be checking the comments throughout the show, so feel free to just chime in there, and we'll be looking. And for those of you that can't get enough of us, you can visit our Patreon, Denix Media, immediately after this broadcast ends for our live post show called The Soapbox, where we wind down and talk about the stuff we didn't get around to in the first 1.5 hours. There's just never enough time in the day.
We like to talk.
Yeah, we do like to talk. So with all of that out of the way, it's a free for all now. Ricky, you do your thing, get to the news, and then everybody can just chat. Go.
So is the news going to take us back to that Spider-Man ride?
Alrighty. Go right at the top.
It can, if
the
you
biggest
want.
news.
We got.
Ride? Oh shit! Sorry.
By the way, I just noticed as you get into the news, nobody said hi to our 2 people in the comments right now. We got Sea Cow Soda and we got Gigamok, aka Nas, from a few weeks ago. He's saying Ricky, king of spoilers.
I interpreted that comment as king of spoilers by Ricky. Like that was a quote from Ricky.
Mm-hmm. Or that was a quote from me from that episode. I'm pretty sure that was right. That was what I called him.
I forgot about his legion.
But welcome people, and let's hear the news.
Whoa, I didn't know we could put comments on there. That's pretty cool.
That's sick.
Well, you just did that.
That's awesome.
You're making it crazy.
Alrighty, Comic-Con 2021.
Oh, so we're starting with fake news. I see. We got fake news.
Is canceled.
No, it's not.
Delayed.
Well,
It's been delayed, and they plan to do a online event instead.
Online event in March or November. Sorry.
No, the November is a live event. In the summer is an online event. Yes,
correct. But the attending in-person convention, yes, is not happening.
In November.
It's a substitute event. It's not the same.
No, I don't think they have the specific details enough for you to actually equivocate that. Like you don't have enough information, and I think I have more information that I'm not allowed to share.
We will leave it at that.
Yes. So sorry about the fake news, guys. All we know.
Go back to talking about Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark.
Dennis, you should you should leak it, and you'd be like the go-to source.
November is a substitute event. Yes. You can. Your 4-day passes are held over again till next year, unless you choose to apply them to the November event. I believe that will be an option later, offered later in the year.
You can trade them into tickets to Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark if you so desire.
If only.
But yeah, I mean, hey, that news is just saying, hey, there's a pandemic going on, and I think we're all aware. So that's why we're all doing this from our homes.
Pandemic.
I mean, we're gonna keep doing this from our homes, right?
Yeah, I think we're gonna keep doing this from our homes even after. Yeah. What's next?
Little MCU updates. I would chop this up to a rumor, but it's been reported everywhere. So essentially, the title or the working title for the X-Men movie from Marvel Studios, it's going to be called The Mutants. And from my understanding, it's a callback to what Stan Lee wanted to originally call the comics, right?
Yeah, I think I read that's the working title. So that doesn't, it doesn't mean they can't change it. But yeah, I think you're right. I believe I remember hearing the stories that's what he wanted to call it, right, Frank?
Yeah, I remember. I think it was on an interview with that Dennis Miller show. Not you, but the political satirist Dennis Miller. He was talking about. He was talking to Stan about that. And he was talking about how like his editor was like, "No one's gonna know what a mutant is. Let's call it the X-Men," as if we'd all know what X-Men were. So it was just kind of a funny story that I think that he tells.
I had not heard that story, so yeah. I'm intrigued.
I think the name would be cool though. It opens the door to that world without pigeonholing into the X-Men, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we have a story about the Morlocks for all we know. Great.
I agree that it's good to have a bigger world for that, but I think the mutants is a little too generic. I think they're gonna they'll spice it up a little bit.
Well, New Mutants was already taken, so.
Right, and it bombed.
Well, I mean, I like
and
that
not just because of the title. I mean, there were other reasons for that too.
I like
but
that.
I think they'll have something a little spicier than just the mutants.
But I think the bigger thing is like it's fine if it's long. I'm fine with it not being called X-Men because I think there's a 20-year history with that now. You know what I mean? Like fans know what X-Men is, right? Like, and
I'm perfectly fine with it not being called X-Men too.
Yeah, and I would love to see stories that don't have to do just exactly like Seikow Soda said. I'm ready to move on from Professor X. Like Professor X can still be a part of the story. It's just he doesn't have to be the main part of it. I
don't want to see Wolverine trilogy again.
Yeah,
nobody.
Well, you're still gonna get that.
Yeah,
that's gonna happen. Like,
most of those movies had X-Men in the title. Like even the Wolverine origins.
X-Men Origins.
X-Men Origins Wolverine.
Yeah. I think there's like 3 movies that did not. So.
Yeah.
But if anybody can pull it off, though, I mean, Marvel has such a big pull now with the MCU. You're right. Like they don't have to play off the X-Men name. People will know.
Sure.
The people that care will know, and everybody else, the filthy casuals, will wait. Let me point that way.
There he is. Oh, wait, where is he?
Nobody wants that.
Look,
Nas
look.
says, "Don't speak for me." But see how Soda wants the full Gold Ball story.
Yes. Excellent.
Alrighty, next on the list, a little quickie, some new Marvel Legends. We have a Black Widow and
Oh
is
yeah.
it Yelena? Not Yelena, right?
No, this is Melina.
Melina. A little 2-pack for the still unreleased Black Widow movie.
So yeah, here's the weird thing for me. Like, I mean, I already bought it, obviously. Here's the thing. Yeah, Silly Cookie Love also wants all the new X-Men stuff. But anyways, the weird thing about these toys is like, dude, they're selling merch for a movie that still hasn't come out yet. And normally what they do is, because the first set of toys came out last April, and when they do them, sometimes they do character designs that are a little inaccurate, right? Like they get the concept art from Marvel way in advance before, they don't get the actual movie footage until really close to when the movie's actually coming out, and the time it takes to make these figures is long. So they actually already did a Red Guardian figure of I forget what's the actor's name from Stranger Things. I'm sorry,
David Harbour.
Yeah.
David Harbour.
David Harbour. Yeah.
Hardball. Yep. Hardball.
They have a figure of him they made last year. It's decent, but like honestly, the face is just wrong. Like it's wrong. The beard is too short. It looks a little wrong. And they even got him to come to their little online convention and like receive his action figure, and like, thanks Hasbro. And he didn't even look that happy about his toy. So is
this the toy?
No. So what
This
Hasbro
doesn't even look
does,
like him.
No. So what Hasbro does is if they have a year, like, and the properties are successful or whatever, they'll go back and retool ones that they didn't get right sometimes. So like they've redone a Thanos figure, or like, popular figures. So they actually redid this guy to actually look like he does in the movie, but it's still weird because this movie's still not out yet, and they're already remaking figures that people have already bought without having any context at all.
And it still doesn't look like him.
No, it does. It really does look like him. If you zoomed in on it, it really does look like him.
Enhance, Ricky. Enhance.
Enhance picture.
Enhance.
He doesn't know how to enhance.
Ricky, can we smooth that out? I know we're using 80s tech, but can please smooth it out a little bit?
Enhance. And then he's holding an action figure of himself, which I guess spoilers, because again, we have no context at all. And then the Melina is the Rachel Weisz from character in the movie.
She looks
From Mortal
pretty.
Kombat.
She looks like Rachel Weisz. She does.
Doesn't look like Rachel Weisz. Looks
don't
like
think that
this.
looks like
This looks like Walmart Ray action figure.
Yes.
They're not Walmart Ray action figures. They're Hasbro action figures.
No, I meant
sold at
Walmart, like the cheap knockoff.
I don't think Walmart sells cheap knockoffs.
It's-
and stuff.
The
Come on,
99
it's figure
cent
speech.
store. It's the
figure
bootleg TJ knockoff.
It's the bootleg Ray from Star Wars.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
And a White Vision.
Yeah,
That's it. That's
Where's
the other
he
one.
from? Where's he from?
It's just a collector's item. They didn't want to paint these ones.
That one's Space Ghost, right? From
This one's called White Power.
He's one half of the.
we're canceled, guys. Back it up.
He's one half of the two WandaVision figures that they have previously not announced until recently. So, I mean, we saw him at the end of last week, so that's not even that's not spoilers, right? If it's been a week.
No, they dropped this like the next day. You think we'll get an Agatha figure?
Bootleg Ray.
This looks like one of those toys that my
With
daughter
the
gets,
cross.
where it comes with a pack of markers and you can color it however you want.
yeah.
I mean, there's nothing saying
Didn't
you couldn't
I,
do that.
It's
there's
washable.
I'm
And there's
pretty sure
nothing
I
saying
bought
your daughter
Dennis
won't get one.
One of those. Right, Dennis, didn't they get you a Spider-Man one for Christmas one year?
Okay,
was
you
like-
bought that for me.
Yeah. It was a Spider-Man that you have to paint, right?
Yeah, I definitely did not paint that.
Oh man, so you left it as the white Spider-Man.
It's white.
The white Spider-Man that Hayward
it's the white
made?
power. It's the white power Spider-Man.
Oh
Yes.
man, we're canceled. Bye guys. Bye. It was
Yeah.
good. We had a good show.
We're all ethnic except for Clarke. He's the token white guy.
Hello.
All right. Hey.
Okay.
Ding dong.
That's where we are in the episode now.
Time
today,
to
guys.
paint Clarke.
Let's go with. You got more news, Ricky?
I mean, continuing on the whiteness.
Wow.
4 generations of Captain
He's gonna
America
double down on the whiteness, huh?
team up in a new comic run. Actually, it's John Walker, Bucky.
Don't say it. Don't say it. You don't have to quantify how many whitenesses there are in this picture.
Well, you know,
The one on the
majority.
right?
The majority.
All the Captain Americas are teaming up to for a new story, and
Off-white vision.
yeah, cover done by Alex Ross. Thought it was cool.
Yeah, I love the fat chins. They make him look more like me. That's perfect.
Dennis's
Cram all-
favorite comic
cram-
artist.
All
you
that
know-
face
do
into
you-
one mask.
I'm quite happy.
Do you know anything about this story, Ricky, or just?
So I've read the summary before we started. I can pull it up right
They
now.
team together to make America great again.
Oh God! And moving on.
And we're
Moving
canceled
on. Moving
Yeah.
on.
Disney's canceling us.
Alrighty.
Really good at this. Did you get the Heroes Reborn news also, or no?
Eggshell.
No, I didn't grab the Heroes Report news.
Oh, okay. Because I know you teased us with that one a month ago, and then they ended up following up more with it. Like the Heroes Reborn story that Marvel's doing is actually not tied to the old one that all the artists did, where it's like a pocket universe where they redo all the stories. Instead, Heroes Reborn this time around is telling the story of an alternate universe where the Squadron Supreme becomes the main heroes of the Marvel universe. And so, yeah, every now and then they got to buff up the Squadron Supreme, usually when Justice League's trying to have a moment. So I think it's pretty funny. But they're
Who's
doing
in the Quadrant Supreme?
they're Marvel's version. They're like a parody of the Justice League.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Hyperion.
They're cool characters, they are, but they're doing special variant covers like right now, and they're doing like trading card style covers too. And like the one for Power Princess, man, it's like the most badass, incorrectly painted Wonder Woman picture you've ever seen, dude. It's awesome. Look up Power Princess by Artgerm. It's
Some
great.
of those are cool. They have the Peter Parker, the Amazing Shutterbug.
Ooh,
and
Artgerm does good work.
Artgerm Power
I collect
Princess.
his stuff.
And if you can get that one into this episode before we're done, Ricky, or in the soapbox, do it then. But you'll find it.
We could talk about
We'll
That's
just
what I
talk.
missed about Comic Con.
Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark, or Spider-Man Rocks at Universal Studios.
I think Ricky found it.
Oh, damn it.
That's not Wonder Woman?
No, it's Power Princess. It's pretty cool.
I typed in Artgerm into Google and I got some random girl's Instagram.
I'll take it.
Nice.
Yeah, don't click on that.
It's not Wonder Woman. It's Power
cool.
Princess.
Yeah. Power
Anyways.
Princess. And she meets Todd Trevor and puts him in a random body. It's pretty cool.
Anyways. Do you have more? news for
WandaVision
us?
time? Nope.
I appreciated the
WandaVision
news
time.
you gave us. Then I guess let's do it, Ricky. All right. We've waited long enough. It's time, that we do this whole thing on WandaVision right now, episode 9. Fair warning, if you don't count everything that we've already said in this episode, there will be spoilers from here on out. And since it's fresh on everyone else's mind, I'm just going to give just a tiniest recap ever. This episode is titled The Series Finale, and if nothing else, it is pretty conclusive. I'd say those rumors of like a mysterious 10th episode next week, I think they've been put to rest. I don't think that's happening. I think the show's over.
What's happening?
I don't even think there's a season 2 of this show that's not called Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. But yeah, it ended, and like it or not, it did end up choosing to go a simpler. I mean, you could argue simple, but for all the theories that we had throughout the whole season of like, oh, what if it's this? What if it's this puppet master? Who's pulling the strings? Everything like that.
Puppet Master, that would have been a good one.
Yeah, and I even, I went down the Ultron rabbit hole. Like everybody had their own theories, but at the end of the day, like it ended up being a story about Wanda working through her grief, and I'm actually okay with that. I became okay with that earlier this week when I thought long and hard about like everything that we've been shown leading up to this.
Long and hard.
Suggests that that's where this was going to go.
Rough boner.
So yes, my expectations were managed. What about you guys? I want to know what you guys think. You tell me. I would like to know, honestly, because I know there's a lot of things. I mean, Frank already can't resist, his jokes about this, but I would like to hear from you guys about what you think were the funniest things that stood out to you in this episode, that like maybe are like the questions that you ended up having first. Go, Oliver.
Okay, casual fan question. What is Darkhold? Are we supposed to know?
Frank,
the villain
go
of
for it.
Justice League.
Darkhold. He's the villain of the Justice League, teamed up with Major Goodner. Darkhold is also known as the Book of Sins. It is a book written by Chthon, who is like the first practitioner of dark magic in the Marvel.
Chaos magic.
Well, no, it's black magic actually at first, and then it evolves into chaos magic in the comics. And then it's also been passed through like Mordred, and like it goes through like vampire books and stuff. You even see it in Conan and Red Sonja, which is kind of interesting. My favorite interpretation or iteration of the Darkhold was in Marvel Zombies, when it was used instead of the Necronomicon to bring back Deadites for the Army of Darkness Marvel Zombies crossover, and Hulk ends up using the Darkhold as toilet paper to wipe his ass. So
I think that's the best summary, right? Is it's Marvel's Necronomicon, pretty much.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
The spooky book.
Yeah, but it's also appeared in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Runaways. And it's looked different each time.
But Darkhold can change its appearance in the...
And we just lost Clarke.
Clarke's over it.
The Darkhold, yeah.
He fell asleep during your explanation, and he's
got to find Marvel Zombies.
You asked the question.
I asked the question. I mean, I was listening. Clarke, I guess, didn't like it. Yeah.
He's pretty mad about that. He's all like, Hulk used it as toilet paper? That's disrespectful to Chthon.
Seacow Soda has a question for you, Frank. Is it made out of or written with anything creepy like blood?
I don't know, but I think like a demon named Chthon writing a book is pretty creepy as is, a little bit.
And so there's a whole chapter on on this theoretical being named the Scarlet Witch, apparently.
Well, according to the MCU, there is.
Which is funny because, like, if Chthon is the first writer and practitioner of black magic in the MCU world, or in the Marvel world, in the 616, like, how did he know about Wanda to write a chapter about her? Like, he's all like, I'm going to meet someone named Wanda.
I think you're assuming Chthon wrote that book in this universe too.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, we don't know.
It was probably Senor Scratchy that wrote it, or
Billy and Tommy, because it looked like a lot of drawings.
That's true.
That kind of opens the door, though, for there being other Scarlet Witches, then, right?
Yeah, it seems like it's a legacy thing, right? It's a Dread Pirate Roberts.
Or it's the prophecy that's never been fulfilled. In fact, I would say it doesn't open the door for other Scarlet Witches, because the prophecy says that the Scarlet Witch will destroy the Earth or the world. So yeah. I would hope there haven't been previous ones.
Yeah, I kind of took it as like a prophesized one.
It's her prophecy.
Yeah.
So her midichlorian count's really high.
Well, if we're going with the Matrix within a Matrix theory, weren't there like 7 Neos, right, or something like that before the actual Neo, and he actually brokered peace between the humans and the robots?
Man.
So maybe there is a Matrix within a Matrix, and Ultron is.
Ricky, what's a question you got? We'll just let Frank keep bouncing them off of you.
Wait, one more question about the Darkhold and Scarlet Witch. They said her power exceeds that of the Sorcerer Supreme, which is Doctor Strange, right?
Yes.
Yes, the current Sorcerer Supreme is Doctor Strange.
So she's or foretold to be stronger than him.
And
she's more powerful. More powerful.
Hey, Ricky, you want to put Gigamock's question up there? Because it's actually the question I had for us for later. My question to you guys was going to be, do you think MCU is setting up Wanda to be the next big bad?
Nah.
No, she can't carry a show. How could she carry a whole movie?
Oh my god.
Oh man, let's revisit this question when Clarke gets back here.
Bang zoom.
Let's ask Clarke that question when he gets back.
I don't think she's going to be the next big bad, but I think she'll be
really
a threat, kind of like this, where another big bad will take advantage of her, or she'll turn good at some point. I strongly believe that.
Okay.
I really hope that someone doesn't take advantage of her yet again. That would be pretty played out.
No one. I didn't say anything about anybody taking advantage of her.
No, Ricky did.
Oh! I'm saying, yeah. Like, so here's the thing. Like, Ricky
said it. Go.
The comments people are getting to it before I get a chance to ask the question, and I love that. But Seacow Soda asked the question I was just about to ask you guys. Does anybody still see her as a hero?
Oh, currently no.
I mean, I don't think she did anything overly heroic in the MCU movies anyway. Like, no.
Well, then, Clarke, we were asked. I don't know if you were able to hear, but we were.
Sorry, no, chaos magic.
Yeah. Do you think that Wanda is the next big bad of the MCU? Because that's what Gigamock, Seacow Soda, and I think, actually.
You know what? That is a good question. They can go that way. I don't think they will. I don't think they have the, lack of a better phrase, the creative balls to do that.
Hey.
I think
they got boners for days, though.
That's true. I mean, I think that would be really, really interesting, especially knowing, the disassembled storylines and such. But, I wouldn't mind.
So here's the question, because Ricky was saying earlier, well, I think she's still going to turn good. As a reminder, Anakin Skywalker turned good at the end before he died.
Yeah.
Hey, there you go.
The thing is, like, Wanda has been hated in the comics for some of the stories because she's so powerful. I think that's really, really intriguing, because you have somebody who is this powerful, who is, when they said, is more powerful than the Sorcerer Supreme, and yet still dealing with her grief and still has some serious issues. I honestly, I like that idea.
Would you like Doctor Doom more as the next Thanos?
There's a comment for you, Clarke, from Gigamock. I don't know. I was surprised at the gravitas of her unmaking her family. That was fairly ballsy.
Ballsy.
Like, how much did she? I mean, she knew she had to for them, but then immediately is looking for them. And by using the Darkhold, she may have realized, okay, I can't have my family with me right now, but that doesn't mean I'm going to stop finding a way to get them. I don't think that she was cured of that grief or stuff. But the question is, would I rather have Doctor Doom? I don't think that we need just one big bad guy. And that's one of the great things about Doctor Doom. Dr. Doom was a fantastic villain as a not being the big bad guy, but as being just a big bad guy, but he always let someone else takes the fall for him so often until he finally strikes. And I think that's something that they can do, that they don't need to have it build up to the Infinity Saga, which was so focused on clearly one object and one character, which was great. But I think they can diversify more. So I think having Wanda as a villain, so to speak, maybe even just for Doctor Strange 2, or just for a little bit in the magical realm, could be really interesting.
You either die a hero or live long enough to become the villain.
I want to address this whole ballsy concept. So when Gigamock's saying ballsy, is he saying that she was ballsy, or is he saying that the showrunners are ballsy? Because Clarke answered that as if she was ballsy, and I think it was more like the showrunners are ballsy, right, Gigamock? Or
Well, the character is an extension of the showrunners, right?
true, but if you want to say like the people in charge are ballsy, like something like the end of Infinity War when Thanos actually wins, that's kind of a ballsy move because you don't expect that. It's like a subversion of our expectations to those who don't know what's going on. Whereas this one's kind of like a natural progression of the story. Yeah, see, the showrunners are ballsy, is what Gigamock's saying.
Yeah,
but so I don't think they were that ballsy because they've done something like that before and they know how to do it again.
And I don't think they were because they instantly had her hearing them screaming, help. And so you knew that they weren't gone for good right after they were supposedly, erased.
Right.
They're
somewhere else. They're somewhere else.
Yeah. We're going to get to Vision, I know more, but, I'm interested, how much did she see of, she doesn't know the conversation. She didn't know what Vision did. Her Vision did to the proto-Vision or whatever we're calling him.
White Power Vision.
Edward Norton Vision.
And it's, I think there's a lot of interest, to see where that goes because he got the memories back. And as I said, or, I don't know, is he going to go, does he remember that Shuri still has a whole bunch of his neurons saved? Is he going to find that? There's a lot of story here, and I'm thrilled that we're not done with Paul Bettany, but we'll be doing those praises throughout most of the show.
He's gonna fly to the nearest Ace Hardware, buy a bunch of paint,
and then be the colored Vision.
I think he's demonstrated before that he doesn't need paint to color himself.
So he's choosing to be all white.
That's the choice.
It's choice right now. It's choice.
He was born this way.
We Oliver, do you have any more questions, or should we let Clarke ask one right now?
Where was Darcy the whole time? Or she just all of a sudden appears out of the corner, and was she just chilling in the ice cream truck, just hanging out? Like, what's going on here?
She spent a whole episode doing that.
Yep.
Just waiting. I'm gonna crash into somebody. I just need this moment.
No, nothing in terms of superhero lore or content, question-wise. No.
Gotcha. Clarke, questions. What was anything that struck you as like, well, that was really funny and weird?
Deus Ex Darcy. Gigamock.
Deus Ex Darcy was that's a good. That was annoying to me. I'm like, okay, they had to have her. Okay, we're done with that. But for me, one of the questions is Sword. What the heck is going on with Sword? Because the only we've got that brief little bit at the end of Spider-Man: Far From Home where we see Nick Fury out in space preparing for a big invasion, and then you've got this Sword being terrestrial and then being pushed around by the FBI. What is this organization?
Well, I think we're jumping into the conclusion that whatever Nick Fury's doing is Sword. I think
we decided that. We decided that. It was never told to us.
That's true.
Sure.
That is and that actually makes more sense because Sword don't make sense, really, in this. So that was that I have a lot of questions, about, what is this? And, as someone, if you watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or even the way S.H.I.E.L.D. was supposed to be, and then we have this Sword. And if you haven't read the comics, it is sort of a little confusing between the two because I don't think it really lays it out well enough how they're related and how Sword can continue and somehow was never infiltrated by Hydra, except maybe it was Hayward. Maybe that's there's all these questions about how he's a bad guy, which he is.
All right, Frank, unleash the questions. Unleash the.
I'm asking a question.
Snark. Unleash the snark. Go.
All right, let's ask. Okay, in one question. I'll start with this question. So, what happened to White Vision, Senor Scratchy, the Beekeeper, Granny Goodness, Ralph Boner, Hayward, Darcy, Jimmy, and the missing person that Jimmy was supposed to be after? What happened to any of those? Like, are we just not gonna? Okay, never mind. Oh, sorry. I'm getting a message saying that I'm gonna have to wait 6 more movies and 3 more TV specials and 1 Lego action figure set before I get the answer.
I did.
Okay, never mind.
I honestly did have that one in my notes as a backup question, which is who is the witness protection program person that Jimmy came to see? We never got to know. Like, that's killing me.
It was the David Schwimmer with the Mario mustache.
Yeah. It was Chester Boobies to go with
like
Ralph Boner.
The last
maybe it was Ralph Boner, and that's why his name is so ridiculous, because it's a fake name.
Yeah.
The last 5-10 minutes, they were like, we got to wrap this shit up, and like that's what it felt to me. Like they glossed over a lot of those little details where
maybe it was the missing person is Tito Von Ultron, and he's going to tie into the next movie. Actually, I was wondering, the Beekeeper is going to be like in the sewers still, being like, well, guys, I'm in here, guys. You know, like, well, what's going on with that guy? Like, where's the Beekeeper? Dead.
He's out of the sewer.
He's dead.
I don't know. I mean, maybe they just didn't film him being thrown out of the hex like they did for Monica.
He's joining Zemo's
She said no.
Group.
Disappeared.
We'll see him in 2 weeks.
He's a Thunderbolt.
He's the new Scientist Supreme.
Perfect. He's going to be Swarm. I think I predicted that early on, but that obviously was going to be nothing.
But his, where his cells, he only went in, say, twice.
Yeah, you have to do it 3 times.
Yeah.
So,
so that kind of answers this question.
Times to be
that
changed.
Answers this question. I think no, because her cells were molecularly changed, so she gets to keep her powers.
Yeah, it has to be 3 times.
The question was, so did Monica lose her powers with the dissolution of the Hex? And we're going to say, because it's Marvel and they really want her to go do other stuff, that she still has her powers. So just forget about that.
Contractually, her powers are in for 1 more series in a movie.
So if she went through 4 times, she would be in the Cronenberg version of Monica. Like, it'd be all disgusting. It'd be like The Fly.
She'd be like the Blob Girl from Doom Squad.
Yes.
Ricky,
Rita Farr.
Give us a question.
What do you guys think Fury wants with Monica? So assuming that is Fury who's asking for her.
I think it's Major Goodner's second cousin.
Yeah, I actually thought it was the projectionist that wanted her. Like, she was all like up there, and then the projectionist? Oh, hey, what's up? What'd you want? Oh, nothing. I just wanted to roll the film.
No.
Or maybe it was a family of raccoons living in the attic that she was pointing to.
I think it was the projectionist.
I think it's safe to assume it's Nick Fury. But what do you think she wants, or he wants with her? Maybe he needs somebody responsible to be in charge of Sword. Because that Hayward guy was the only guy they had available at the time, and that did not work out.
He's the best alternative to Fury would be Talos, but I think Talos is on Earth during this time.
Yeah, Giga. I'm actually with Nas that I was thinking that it might have been Talos, the soul leader.
Well, this takes place before Far From Home, right? This one.
No.
Yeah, no. I'm pretty sure it does. It takes place like a few months before Far From Home. Ricky, look it up, please.
Yeah, didn't they say it took place right after?
This takes place about
a week after.
3 weeks. No, 3 weeks. 3 weeks after the snap.
Isn't that still before Far From Home? Because the snap happens and they go to the trip later on. There's a bit of time before
you might be right. You might be right.
It's the summer vacation.
You might be right, but my point is, Fury is still already up there in space by then, right?
Maybe.
I would assume, yeah.
I don't know how long it takes to get to space.
When you say Gigamock, when you say you thought it was a Skrull leader, I don't know why that's the assumption, because it could be both. Like, right, like essentially what we saw was Nick Fury leading the Skrulls on that space station, right? He was in charge, directing them and taking his little virtual vacations, like or midday breaks, whatever.
If that was him.
My assumption is that Nick Fury is still very much involved with the Skrull for two reasons. One, because they showed us in Far From Home, and two, because he is already been cast to star in the Secret Invasion show on Disney Plus. Right?
Sure.
Yeah.
I like Sea Cow Soda's comment there. She said she thought it was Fury, but she likes this raccoon idea. So.
Gotcha.
This family of raccoons just up in the attic of the theater.
Frank, dare I ask you for more snark questions?
I got plenty. Why didn't Agatha fall when the runes were activated? That was a spell that she was using.
I thought that too.
Mary Poppins, y'all.
I think
that
we all
entered
thought
in
it.
my mind as well.
And I think that means none of us have an answer for you.
Okay, sounds good.
Well,
why did
maybe Wanda?
Maybe Wanda allowed her. Yeah.
Didn't want to have anybody die, so maybe Wanda was holding her up.
Sure. Okay.
I also say I absolutely love that fight scene that Wanda's just like kicking Agatha's ass in like sweatpants and shit.
I think that their answer kind of fits in with the general lore of the Marvel universe, right? Because we've already said that like nobody died horribly when they were returned from the blip, right? Because Banner was smart enough and nice enough to make sure of that. So I think Wanda could manage to keep one person.
Also, though,
spatting.
when she was making the runes, was the flight a continual spell that was already on her, and then her magic didn't work because she was doing new magic?
See what you did, Frank.
Magic that was already.
See, Frank, you didn't really. Here's
perpetuity, or is she has a magic brooch, like a cloak of levitivity or something else? Maybe she had a magic item that allowed her to fly.
She has the priest collar of flight.
I don't think Frank actually wanted an answer to that question.
No. Please answer away. Like that helps. One of my favorite questions was posed by Agatha. Did you know there's an entire chapter devoted to you in the Darkhold? And like, what kind of question is that? Like,
how old she?
I didn't know the Darkhold existed until this day. Like, why are you asking me such a question like that?
Man, see, as a reminder, guys, we're letting everybody get it out because it's therapy. It's therapy right now. It's therapy.
I'm going to build off of that one then.
Yeah.
Is the Darkhold the only magic book in the Marvel universe?
No, there's not. No, we've actually seen a bunch of them in Doctor Strange.
Yeah. Yes, we have an entire whole library.
But one was missing. One was missing from the sacred 7. There's 7 books in Doctor Strange, and one is missing.
Yes.
So if there's presumably one missing, then it would make sense that it would be the one book. So
I was disappointed that was the Darkhold too.
Yeah, but I was at first, but the more I think about it, I was like, okay, if they whiffed on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and they whiffed on Runaways, like, I mean, what's the common denominator between those 3 shows, right? And like, and how many of their audience are they really burning by doing it a third time on WandaVision? You know what I mean? Like, it's fine. But if that book continues to be the only book in the Marvel universe for the next 10 years, that would suck. I would agree.
There's just that book and the O.J. Simpson book.
I mean, even the Mummy had 2 books.
Do it.
The Mummy had 2 books, but not in one movie, right?
Yeah, they did. They had the Book of the Dead and the Book of the Living in the first movie.
Oh, gotcha.
The first one, yeah.
Yeah.
They also have the Necronomnom, which is a cookbook of the dead.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Jesus.
Oliver, do you have any follow-up questions to what you've heard now?
Follow-up questions? Nope.
No.
Why did you walk through town at the end?
Yes.
And then why did she go up to Monica and apologize to Monica instead of apologizing to all the friggin' townspeople around her that she actually caused pain to? She didn't really do anything to Monica.
And you said you had no questions.
Like at the end of Weird Science, where he's all like, sorry. Sorry. Like she's just gonna go through town.
I mean,
I don't know, but why did she apologize to Monica? Like, I know Monica has awesome superpowers.
Because
I think that it kind of showed when our Agatha was showing her that she really was hurting them. I think she had so blocked it out that she didn't really realize how much she was hurting the townspeople. But she remembered what she had done to Monica.
I wouldn't parade downtown though after that.
Yeah,
it's on fire. There
She
it
did a
is.
shame walk, but like
He was doing a shame walk.
her face did not say shame walk. Her face said defiant.
Her face was quite ashamed. That was a shame. That was a shame face for sure.
Peak white lady power move, says CK.
No,
so
you can't say that. You can't say
That's awesome.
Peak white lady power move. That's
just
why,
a bad case of the Mondays.
Sorry for my people.
She was like Miranda Priestley on Devil Wears Prada.
Don't know the reference, bro.
Okay, I'm done.
No, like I said, the last 10 minutes of that episode, just like, all right, we gotta
wait. Also, in the last 10 minutes, what time of day was it? It was like daytime, and she put the kids to bed, and it was nighttime, and then she came back outside, and it was daytime again. But they were all just standing in the square. Do you guys notice that?
Yes,
the hex.
But I think that was inside the hex and outside the hex.
Yeah.
Oh, because it was shrinking. It was shrinking because Okay.
Totally noticed that. Yeah.
She wanted to put her kids down at night.
Yeah, and then leave and not watch them disintegrate.
Yeah.
She wanted to not be in the room when they died because that's awkward.
It's like that scene on Titanic, and they lived happily ever after for 300 years in the realm of Tiranoog.
In Titan.
Yeah, what is it? Titan.
Titan.
Yeah. The land of eternal youth and beauty.
Are we almost cleansed? Is it almost time to move to the good?
I can throw one more out there. So towards the end,
never.
Hayward is arrested by the FBI for being bad guy of the show. But he didn't really. I mean, what did he do wrong? He shot at fake children.
I'm gonna let you guys answer it, but I wrote down a list.
Okay, well I'll phrase this. What's worse, shooting fake children or enslaving real children?
I don't know why you have to compare the two. I'm not sure why.
Well, because one person got arrested and one person walked away.
Because one person got caught.
He can't fly. He can't put on a hoodie.
Exactly. I don't think it's a matter of what's worse. That's not the question. He should have bought a hoodie. That's not the question. She didn't just fly away. She moved out to like Alaska or something, man. She's far. She's really far.
I would have thought Wandagore, like honestly, but
yeah, maybe. I don't know. But
maybe Alaska. She's with Jesse Pinkman.
Who else wants to take a shot at what his crimes were? Because I have them written down.
Lying. He lied one time.
Who else seriously wants to take a shot at these? All right. No?
No.
Okay, based on his scene with Jimmy, it would appear that Hayward may have gone out against regulations to create White Vision. We already know it was established that Vision had a living will that specifically said that was not allowed, and yet here he goes and he remakes a Vision. Whether or not you want to argue that one, whether or not that one wants to be argued, which you can, but he definitely tampered with the video to manipulate his scene.
Let me sneak in there. Like if my PS3 told me that it didn't want to be used as a weapon, I wouldn't give a shit if my PS3 told me that. I would use it as a weapon if I wanted to.
PS3 isn't alive, Frank.
One, it's not your PS3, all right? It was never your PS3.
We don't know
well, whose
the
PS3
robotics.
is it? It's Tony Stark's PS3, right?
Okay,
what are robotic rights in the MCU?
I think it's safe to say you're being an ass if you're equating your PS3 to Vision, okay? You're being a jerk. But anyways.
Actually, I believe his body was Korean, was it not?
Yeah, that's true.
I guess so, yeah.
But like, he definitely tampered with the video in order to manipulate his team into doing everything that they did afterwards. So he basically made his whole team accountable for whatever else happened afterwards, based on false manipulated evidence, right? And later he admitted to planning to cover up the existence of the second Vision once Wanda was dead. So he's admitting to a cover-up as well to a federal agent who he is also restrained without real cause, poorly, by the way. But that's not a crime to restrain a federal agent poorly. Just restraining the federal agent in general. But anyways, there's at least a handful, in addition to whether or not you want to count opening fire on children,
fake children,
whether or not they're fake. You know, they're still very capable of screaming, "Help, mommy, help!" So I don't know.
That was my PS3.
They do that in
like,
GTA too.
Like it'd be fine. Yeah.
They don't do that in GTA. There's no kids in GTA.
No kids in GTA.
People scream if you shoot at them.
People do, but not kids. Specifically, not kids for a reason.
You have to get really sneaky in Cyberpunk 2077 if you want to kill the kids. Like you got to explode things near them.
Plus, obviously, you know. By the way, this show got away with murdering kids because they didn't technically murder them because they're still alive at the end of the show. So, just saying. But I'm just saying there is an argument to be made that he did do a lot of corruption type crimes in that season of the show.
Oh, the second and third worst actors in the show. Yes.
Yes.
But I'm also with what Silly Cookie Love said. Is that punishable by the FBI? Because that's where I wondered about where the jurisdiction is between Sword and the FBI. Well, can the FBI really come in and start arresting?
Here's my question in response to that. Do you want a show about that?
Yeah. Yes.
No.
Yeah. I want answers.
Or do you just want to let that one lie? Because I don't think I care.
A Marvel crime procedural by Dick Wolf.
I don't think I care. I don't think I care who has jurisdiction over who. Sorry for anybody, but like that doesn't matter to me. That's one they could leave loose-ended for me. I don't care.
Well, I mean, then you have to strike that question or strike that answer from your records then, because if you don't care who has jurisdiction, then you don't care who has the right or who's in the right here.
No, I'm saying
you don't care about law and order.
No, I'm saying he'll have to answer to somebody, Frank.
You don't care about the United States.
He has. Wait, we don't have claim to that song. Careful.
Oh, no. Wait, is it old? Isn't it?
I don't know.
Public
no, I don't care who prosecutes him as long as he ends up going to jail. It's fine.
Yes.
And then
we agree. He's bad guy.
And then Zemo breaks him out 2 weeks from now. And then gives him a sweet paladin outfit. Yeah. Worms and becomes paladin of the Thunderbolts.
Fantastic.
And
but like he turned really cartoonish as a bad guy towards the end there. Like he's all like, now I'm gonna do some stuff and then shoot kids. Like he unloaded a clip on kids.
I know that's like from every cartoon I've ever watched, right?
Yeah, for reals.
What are you talking about?
No, but
I'm just shoot at kids.
I'm saying his descent was like a cartoon bad guy. Like he was evil for the sake of evil.
I just want to say, on paper, I mean, he was worse than like 50% of Marvel's villains by just opening fire on 2 kids, dude. Like. He's pretty bad. Even all the crime guys in the crime lords in Ant-Man 2 never opened fire on children.
That point backs up my argument of what I'm saying. Like all of a sudden he's shooting kids.
Hey, Thanos killed the children.
Thanos killed a lot of people.
I said 50%. I obviously didn't want to say all because there's some really bad ones.
He killed children, but not the British children.
Yes, that's George Washington.
He even killed seahorses. He killed a lot of things.
Yes. Anyways.
Nope. Before we go on to the positive, let's rewind all the way to the intro where Frank says Oliver was right.
Oliver was correct. What was the point? What was the point of the sitcom? It was just to cutely show and cheekily show her grief through the sitcoms, but then like it ended up leading nowhere. It was just like something for fans to like dote on. Like, oh my god, that lobster! There's a lobster door knocker. It's Mephisto.
Oh, all right. So I happened.
Was that not fun though? Like, is that not enough? Like,
no.
It was part of the narrative, and they did add that in that. When she hit that moment of grief, she went to her happy place, the place that she remembered, which was the simplest. And that's why it went back to the Dick Van Dyke first when she was a child and what she gave her comfort as a child.
I know
this was entering into her mind from that. And it was the first few episodes are like the appetizers to a good meal. They were building up to that.
It was like the appetizers to like Red Lobster or something. I wouldn't call it a good meal.
That's like saying it was an appetizer. You got like an appetizer to Chinese food, and then you were served Italian. Like it was unrelated.
Every buffet ever.
How is it unrelated?
Because nothing that happened in the dreams. I mean, not the dreams. The sitcoms mattered.
No, that's not true. That's not true.
Oh, I have.
All right. Minus the
things mattered. Things mattered. But here's allow me to try and argue this from a different angle. Because I think Sea Cow Soda brought up something either last week in the main show or in the soapbox. But it was the idea, when Agatha was mentioning last week the runes and like all the different magic that and all these, she's like unloading exposition, right? And Ricky said, do you think they're going to use any of that next week? And we're like, hell yeah, they're going to use that. And like Lindsay reminded us of the principle of Chekhov's gun, right? And it's a writing principle that if you introduce a gun in Act 1 of your story, that it has to be used in Act 3, right?
Yeah.
But the only problem is that they abused the crap out of the Chekhov's gun principle by introducing everything that was needed to conclude this story, this 9-episode story. They introduced it all in episode 8. What that means is they didn't introduce anything of actual use to the resolution of this story in episodes 1 through 7. They introduced a lot of things like her working through her grief and stuff, but even the concept of sitcoms being her go-to happy place, we as audience never even had a chance to know that was Wanda's go-to until they introduced it to us in episode 8 and said, oh, by the way, in case you didn't know, the day that her parents died was she was watching some DVDs out of a suitcase that her dad brought home because he couldn't sell them, and all this baggage, you know what I mean? So like we weren't allowed to even be in on that until episode 8, and that makes it not fair, and it makes it seem, and then after episode 8, when nothing has anything to do with sitcoms, then you're like, okay, what was the real reason it was a sitcom, right? It didn't have to be a sitcom. They just chose to use that as their medium because they chose it because artistically they can use different tropes to simplify different moments of her going through her grief. But it could have been done in any other way. You know what I mean? It could have been her doing circus acts every week or something like that. It could have been
the sitcom
anything.
Aspect allowed them to write in like, how are we able to view them? How was Darcy able to view what's going on inside? It put a nice bow on how that all needed to function, so all the
I understand
could connect.
Yeah, I see Gigamock saying, but there were sorry, wrong one. He's typing furiously right now. It's awesome. He said yes. He said yes. It totally mattered. It showed her disconnect from reality, and that not facing her pain is actually worse. I agree. It showed that, but I'm saying there's a million ways it could have. They just arbitrarily chose sitcom, right? They just chose sitcom because they thought it would be fun. And that's unfortunate that it didn't have any other real reason to be a sitcom other than we're doing a TV show on Disney Plus. Let's make fun of TV. You know what I mean? Or not make fun of, but you know what I mean? Pay tribute.
Pay homage. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Pay homage to TV.
The sitcoms that, like later on, like the Halloween episode, it was like whatever era that was. It was sitcom, but it was worked into it, and then it was moving the action forward and moving the plot forward. But the first 2.5 episodes were full sitcoms with subplots that completely didn't matter. The boss choking, having the boss over for dinner, him swallowing bubble gum, and somehow being an interdimensional being getting gunked up and malfunctioning. All of that didn't matter. And
that's what I'm talking about. Two responses to that. First of all, it did show from the very, very beginning that Agnes was somebody different. So it did establish from the very first episode that Agnes was not a normal character in this story. And that, of course, becomes significant later. And I wanted to say I really appreciate your point that you just made, Dennis, about all the key to unlocking all this back stuff didn't happen until 8. So I totally agree with you on that. But one other angle to look at is that why needing those first 2 episodes is this version of Vision only came into being at the very beginning of that first sitcom. And so you actually see those first few journeys where he starts questioning himself and his life. It's almost looking back, and this is again one of the tropes of looking back, it's almost his story. If you go and watch it again and watch and realize that is a Vision that was just born, and this is the only reality that he's known.
Who's going to go back and watch those episodes?
Well, me, but we've already established that is not the norm for the people in this group. And I have rewatched them.
Those could have been done in 10 minutes.
Yes. I agree.
That could have been done in 10 minutes, that whole purpose, and then move forward. But, so, okay, couple of things. So last time I came on, and that's going back to my original thought of the first 2 episodes, I said the first 2 episodes don't even matter, and the sitcoms were just a circle jerk scavenger hunt for the super nerds. But I kind of regretted it after doing the episode and then hearing all your guys' cool theories. I was like, oh, maybe like trust in Marvel, right? Like, so we've had a decade of all these movies, and they've always, no matter how dumb or outlandish something might seem, it always comes together in the end, and they've done an amazing job of doing that. And then so as you were doing these as the episodes went on and you were doing these episodes and it was starting to come together, I was like, okay, cool. Like, yeah, maybe it is Mephisto and something cool that's going to tie in, and those things really were going to mean something, but they never did. And that's kind of why I was disappointed too. Like, I was like hoping that I was wrong. I was hoping that I was wrong, and that it would change my whole perspective of the beginning of this season. But then it just, and then I was excited to see Dennis's emergency episode, Ultron theory. That was cool. And then none of it ended up happening, and then it was just kind of fell flat. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, I do know what you mean. I do. And it's what took, I went down like this crazy snowball of like, oh, it has to be better than what we're seeing. Right. And how Frank was, I mean, to a larger extent, the other thing that we didn't even talk about really, which is that we just kind of accepted it now after 9 issues or 9 episodes, is that all the crappy exposition that occurred in the outside world, it was so heavy-handed, and it ended up being just for that reason and no reason else, and that just hurt my soul, right? To know that they just, like, I'm okay with them wasting Darcy because I just don't like her as a character in general, but like, I don't know why they had to drag Jimmy Woo down with her, you know what I mean? Like that, I like that character in Ant-Man 2, and now it's just
I love Jimmy Woo.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's just I'm Asian, but I
love Randall Park, and so I will forgive him for Jimmy Woo.
Hate Jimmy Woo less after this show, though. Like,
I did, because like he knew every single detail about the moment that Wanda and Vision Wanda had to kill Vision, and that's very specific. You know what I mean? Like, and as a reminder, that's like 3 weeks after this happened.
I'll believe him knowing it.
3 weeks and 5 years.
He's in the FBI. I don't believe Darcy knowing it, because what is Darcy top secret credentials?
Okay, that's fine, but whatever. But in any case,
we talked about that. We said Thor told her about the battle.
It's also not 3 weeks. It's like,
but I wanted to bring up too, like, if they would have kept going with the sitcoms. No, I'm pausing again. Okay, there we go. If they would have kept going with the sitcoms and kind of not did the exposition dumps that they regularly did, and then kind of just fed you little bits of information along the way, I think it would have been more fulfilling than just dumping exposition all over you.
I could have been fine with the sitcom if we were allowed to have a little bit more inside view into what was going on. And I think we don't have much time left, so we are going to switch to the good. So I will end this part of the segment with this one last thought that does help people like Nas out there who and Clarke who are diehard defending the sitcom. I do have one point to make in favor of the sitcom, and I think it's that if you remember all the way back to episode 8, when everything important got introduced in one episode, and we learned moments before her parents died, Wanda is explaining to her brother what a shenanigan is, and she tells him that it's a silly thing that happens, sometimes scary, but more often silly. And it's like a problem, is what she says. It's a problem that can be silly, but sometimes scary. But then her dad
do it in that accent that all of a sudden disappeared.
She did in the accent that I'm not going to do. And then her dad says, but the thing you can always count on is that a shenanigan always ends up okay at the end, right? And then moments later, her parents die. So if she's locked into a trauma, and that trauma is most tied to her relationship with her family and sitcoms and the sitcom experience and why she likes shenanigans, then I do appreciate that this show is the very sad reality of how shenanigans, although might be with the best intent, do not actually end up okay at the end. So I actually really like the tragicness of the ending of this show with regard to sitcoms, because specifically shenanigans.
That is cool, but you can have shenanigans and make them entertaining. is the thing you can do.
Would I have liked the shenanigans?
Are you not entertained?
Yeah,
Frank,
I was not.
Frank, would I have liked the concept of shenanigans introduced in episode 1 or 2? Yes, that would have been better. I think for the rest of this, I think you had your time, Frank. You had your time. But what I'm saying is, for the rest of this, like, let's just acknowledge of the stuff that did work, what worked. You know what I mean? Because I'm not saying the shenanigan thing pulled off in like beautifully or anything like that. I'm just saying that is the nugget in defense of why sitcoms.
I'm making a meta joke, because if this were an MCU movie, like you just said that big heartfelt thing, and then I would undercut it with like a joke, because that's what MCU does, right? One thing I did like about this episode, especially like the show in general, is that the emotional beats almost always paid off. There was never like a boner joke in the middle of like an emotional part. Like it was always, there was a time for humor, there's a time for seriousness. And when Wanda was doing her, saying goodbye to the kids and saying goodbye to Vision and stuff, that was all serious. And Peter Quill didn't go in there and start like waggling around his wiener and being like, we're the Guardians of the Galaxy, bitch. What's up, turd nugget? Like, he didn't say
feel
any
like
of that.
You watch too much Avengers porn. I think
that's definitely a safe bet.
You get them confused sometimes.
That's a safe bet. But
Yes.
but the emotional beats were safe in their own kind of emotional bubble. Like even Agatha, who turned out to be the big bad for this show, shed a tear when Vision said that profound thing about grief, persevering, being love.
Yeah.
So that's my piece. That was one of the things that I did enjoy. There weren't too many of them. I did like Scarlet Witch's look, and I like that they tried something new, even if they sissied out in the 0 hour and kind of just went back to their MCU habits. They did try something, and I appreciate that.
But we knew they were gonna wuss out at the end, right?
We didn't know.
Like
you thought Ultron was going to be in the big bad. Come on.
No, I'm saying last week when we were getting Lindsay on at the last minute, because we didn't have a guest scheduled last minute, but we were like, dude, let's get Lindsay on to talk about grief right now, because next week is not going to be the appropriate time to spend a whole episode talking about it, because this is going to turn into a giant Marvel spectacle we all knew what this was going to be.
Yeah,
you know
you're right. You're right in that we knew at the end that was going to happen when it was highly predictable.
Oh,
what would happen.
yeah.
We didn't know. We couldn't have predicted this.
No, I'm saying a week ago. A week ago.
You're right. You're right. I apologize.
We had enough foresight to know.
Yeah.
Yes. I do want to go back to what you were saying. You said you liked Wanda's look. I thought it was okay. I actually really loved Agatha's look, and I know Oliver did too.
Yeah.
Look like a witch.
I know. I mean, with the
black fingers. I don't know.
Cool.
I don't know why.
I just love the
black
cool.
fingers.
I loved her because she looked different than everything we've seen in the Marvel universe up till now, and she looked like a straight up witch, man. And I was really bummed that this prophesized Scarlet Witch just ended up looking like an Avenger. Like, I was like, why don't you have all this cool frilly fabric and like stitching and lace and all this stuff that Agatha's got there? You know what I mean? Like
she's an Avenger though, right?
Yeah.
But they drew her in a book. It's in the book. Like,
well, they already did it in the Halloween episode.
Yeah,
I know. No, I don't want that. I don't want that one either. There's a happy middle ground between what we got.
Two Scarlet Witch costumes in this show. You can't Scarlet Witch. More.
We got Scarlet Witch in Kevlar, guys. She's wearing Kevlar. Okay,
well, just wait one movie and she'll have a new costume. That's all you have to do.
That's fair. I'm happy to get
that rubber stuff though.
It's better than the trench coat.
You know, what materials do they have? Spandex, leather, the Kevlar-ish thing, and clothy stuff.
And David Schwimmer's mustache. They could have used that for her outfit.
Right? Didn't that guy look like David Schwimmer with the Mario mustache?
100%.
Frank's been saying that all
Oh, have you?
100%.
Frank's
that's him. That's him right there. That's his picture.
But you know what? I want to further say to Dennis's point, because that's one of my favorite things about Doctor Strange, is that Doctor Strange is not in a Kevlar thing. He's in robe.
Yeah.
And I loved that look and still do. So they have done it. But notice it's the two magic people. But yeah, she could have gone either way. We can talk to Andy Park at the Comic-Con next time.
Yeah, in November.
No, that's canceled. Sorry.
What Ricky, what was something you liked?
I liked and I didn't like that Strange showed up. I applaud them for keeping.
Wait, that Strange didn't show up.
Didn't show up. Sorry.
Oh,
this was Wanda's.
Like, I knew there was a credit, a post credit.
He got name dropped. He got name dropped.
He got title dropped, not name dropped.
He got occupation dropped.
The Sorcerer Supreme. Other people have been the Sorcerer Supreme.
Sure.
Yeah.
He's on whatever, nerd.
The ancient one was Sorcerer Supreme.
I know.
You know,
I wanted Strange to pop up because, on one side, I still think it is kind of weird that he's not there. We get Loki popping up for 15 minutes on Earth, and Strange immediately pulls his ass into the Sanctum. So it's weird to have this type of event happen and him not have a presence. But on the flip side, I do like that they stuck to their guns and told Wanda's story. And she's not necessarily a hero of the story either. She's just a player, a player in this bigger world where she caused a lot of harm to these people, and she's not clean out of any of this.
Sea cow soda. Ricky has finally snapped. She corrected herself.
But she did get to grow in the sense that she got to move on from Vision and her kids, and we saw that at the end of this episode. So
I think we also saw that she didn't move on from her kids.
Not from her kids now.
In the short term.
What? We don't know how long she's been out there on that mountain.
I mean, if she wanted her kids,
like
she can.
It's been 3 minutes.
She didn't have to stop the hex.
She's learned how to be more powerful than Doctor Strange now because she can go grab tea while astral projecting in the back room and reading a book. Yes, but yeah, it was in the short term. She's not over her kids, I suppose.
I'm glad she was reading the Darkhold and not like Eat, Pray, Love or something like that.
She finished that in like half a second. So.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Yeah. She's actually listening to an audiobook while she's reading Darkhold.
Nice. She's powerful, man. She's powerful.
Yeah.
Clarke, what was another favorite thing you had?
Vision versus Vision. I loved the actual fight, but I loved even more that it was settled with a logic puzzle.
I actually hated the actual fight and loved that it was settled with a logic puzzle. But
well, that's good. We loved at least half of what we both loved.
Yes.
But
the fight was pretty cool,
the actual fight, yes, was just super. It was interesting seeing how you deal with the phasing. How do you deal with somebody who can phase when you can phase? That's the kind of stuff that I liked about it. That it was, it wasn't just a punch. It was kind of how to deal with similar powers. But all that was again totally overshadowed by the fact that he beat him with the logic puzzle, and then having that sort of passing the torch, because we knew that WandaVision, see what it did there, was going to go away. But it was great to set up the original Vision with the potential of becoming it again. And which is kind of what happened in the comics. I mean, White Vision was for a period, and that's what comics do. They have to change. They've been around for 60 years. They need some different stories. The characters, you got to let them breathe a little bit, go off and try something different, and different costumes and things and different powers, but they'll come back. Yeah. And so I want to know what's Vision's journey now. As Frank totally knows, that'll be 2 movies later. And it's yes, that's going to be later.
That's the third post-credit scene in Shang-Chi. Like, you're spoiling it for everyone.
Dude, we saw Adam Warlock like 7 years ago.
Yeah.
It's like, where's that guy?
In Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
I mean,
James Gunn got canceled. And,
he got canceled for a little bit, so it's things are a little slow on the Guardians front, but they'll be back. Gigamock was saying he liked both. It was very fun, and it ended very similarly to one of the ways that Avengers beat an Ultron.
We had a question from Silly Cookie Love also.
We'll
get to that after we respond.
Would you consider her an anti-hero for Wanda, right? I think that's the question.
Yeah, because we've been calling her, like, we've been kind of painting her black and white, like hero or villain.
I don't think that she has to be either. I don't think she has to be an anti-hero either. I think Seacow Soda mentioned it earlier. Like, what if she's just a human, with feelings and stuff? And I'm fine with that. And I'm fine with humans doing bad things and humans doing good things. And if one day it ends up with Wanda doing such bad things that Doctor Strange finally has to say, whoa, what are you doing? Like, I was off dealing with Loki at this moment, so I couldn't deal with this. But I just wanted to exposition to you why I wasn't here.
But to that point though, like, I'm watching some humans on the screen right now. Like, I've seen that. I want to see something be a hero or something be a villain.
You haven't seen humans do what she can do and has done, and still try to find a normal life. You know what I mean?
Well,
like,
I like that she's not bad because she's a Scarlet Witch. I don't think like that power or force is not driving her to be bad.
If she is bad, it's because of the crappy life we saw in this season.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's not like the Phoenix Force.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's taken over her. It's just that she is so powerful, and you want to know, okay, what direction is she going to go with this?
But guys, that's why
she's going to be able to control it.
That's why I'm excited at the possibility of her being the new big bad, right?
Yeah.
If she's the Darth Vader of the Avengers universe, like, don't you wish that Darth Vader got the prequel that we got with her? At least we understand her pain. You know what I mean? Like, Anakin's pain sucks.
Can we recast her before, just like Anakin, Christian Haydenson? He was not Hayden Christensen when he became awesome Darth Vader. So can we recast Hayden Christensen, Elizabeth Olsen into someone amazing, and then she can be the big bad?
We'll just make her a CG monster by the end, and then it'll be
CG monster. No, that's bad.
Give her a suit of armor, and she's got a vendetta against Tony Stark, because she does. She has a vendetta against Tony Stark, like every other MCU villain.
Nas, I don't think that's what they want. I think we're just getting slightly off topic here, but
I don't think she's an anti-hero though. I think she's like a flawed hero, I think it's
Oliver.
Yeah,
who would you want her? Who would you want to play this?
Oh, I don't know. I don't have anyone in mind. I just think she's a horrible actress. I just really think she, like, even in the Avengers movies, even though she had bit parts, like she did, like, everyone was so powerful on stage, and her acting just always fell flat compared to everyone else's. Like, it was such a star-studded cast that hers always stood out, like kind of like Russell Crowe in Les Miserables. Like, one of these is not like the other. You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
like acting powerhouses, and then her. You know, and then like Paul Bettany's shoulders must be awfully tired from carrying her in this show. Like, Paul Bettany was fantastic. Yeah. So I don't know. Even like I was watching episode 8, the last episode. And it was her being in anguish, and Colleen was just walking by, and she's like, "Oh God, like, is that her acting?" Like, even Colleen was like, "Oh, that's terrible." You know what
I mean? Gigamock, to answer your question there, the difference between an anti-hero and a flawed hero, in my mind, is that an anti-hero actively does things that are against the law or against the rules or against the norm in order to accomplish his heroic goals. For instance, Punisher would kill someone if he thought that that person was a bad guy, right? He's actively punishing someone and doing something that he shouldn't be doing, murder. Whereas a flawed hero would do some stuff, but maybe not be aware of it, or maybe feel guilty about it later. Punisher
like
has no
racist
guilt.
or something, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Like he would watch Mulan and not care about, Disney supporting China.
Yeah, Clarke.
Yeah, that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
this guy
flawed. Clarke's our flawed hero.
This got awkward here. Let's move away.
I waited a month.
Let's separate them a little bit right there.
I didn't pay them, Oliver. I swear.
Anyways, do you guys have any other things that you liked? I mean, I think we did hit a lot of them, but I just wanted to make sure everybody's getting a chance to actually say. I was surprised. Like, most of the stuff that I liked actually came out through just organically, and that was really fun. But if you guys don't have anything else to talk about for likes, we could talk about predictions on where we see this going next.
I just wanted to say I didn't hate it. Like, as much as I like to poo-poo on stuff, it ended okay. Like, last episode was a little exposition-y, but it came to a conclusion. It wrapped it up in a nice little bow, and whether you liked it or not, it was a neat little package in itself. So it wasn't terrible.
Nice.
I'm going to answer both your questions at once because I think this was a good example of what these Disney Plus shows can do. That they don't need to be as epic and world building as the movies, but can give us these little windows into Marvel. And that's what I'm looking forward to more as they've announced a ton now of Disney Plus shows. But I think that with our expectations now a little more controlled, that we can enjoy these little corners of the Marvel universe that give us a deeper look into some specific characters, but without having the weight of having to move the entire universe forward.
Well,
like Iron Fist.
Well, inherently, Wanda, Falcon, those are big players in the current universe, as is the story that we know. So I think that's kind of where people's expectations were on how this thing was going to move along. But to your point, I think the Disney Plus thing will be good for the characters that we don't know. We don't know in the MCU, like Miss Marvel or Moon Knight, where they have more creative freedom to let them play in their own space in this universe, and they don't have the baggage of the other. Like, Doctor Strange is not going to come help Miss Marvel, right? That's a safe bet right now because we don't know. But with like Wanda and Falcon and the Winter Soldier, there's just that Avengers baggage that I think sets their bar a little bit higher than the others.
I don't think it's going to temper our expectations, though, because Ricky will be like, at the end of the show, if Zemo doesn't show up, I'm going to rob a bank. Like Ricky gets crazy with his expectations. Like, he's going to go murder some people right now because Doctor Strange didn't show up.
Watch out.
Thank you for bringing it back, Frank, because I did want to punctuate something that I was pretty impressed that mostly all of you actually brought up was the expectations, and I put down as my prediction. It's a bit snarky, but I did put down that MCU fans will never stop expecting more than Marvel is willing to give them. And so I think it's very perfect that Clarke would be optimistic and say that I think we've set our expectations to be better now, but I just don't think we will. And I'm just being
always
real.
One more.
Yeah, I think as much as I hope that Falcon and the Winter Soldier in 2 weeks is a straight buddy cop movie that I don't have to like speculate on, man, I just know 7 weeks from now I'm gonna be way into it, and I'm gonna be like, guys, I'm pretty sure Adhesive X is coming any minute now. Like it's coming, like it's gonna happen. So what are you gonna do?
Thunderbolts.
But no, I hope that this experience helped us manage those expectations, because I did have fun with the whole thing, and you know, like earlier today, like because Frank was just like a volcano of amazing negativity when we were chatting about this, and you know, it's all in good fun.
Yeah,
but,
I do that for the fun.
But he did assess the show as like, yeah, overall it was okay. Nothing was mind blowing, and I was like, that's not fair to the show, because like, in all honesty, when Evan Peters showed up, 4 weeks ago, that was freaking mind blowing. That broke the internet, man. The internet was just like losing it. Frank, I don't know if you realize, but there's some weird noises coming from your mic right now.
Yeah, that was the sound of me about to bring up that I called it. I knew they were going to do something stupid with Evan Peters, because I predicted that the show was going to go kind of in that MCU direction, the typical MCU.
It doesn't change the fact that it still was a crazy thing to see on screen. You know what I mean?
It was cool for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I said I would like it, but I know that they wouldn't do anything fun with it, at least within the context of the show.
That's fine.
And you're right, it is fun.
Yeah, my point is that we had fun. We had fun, and it was a roller coaster ride. And unfortunately, the lows sometimes were a little more intense than we wanted them to be, or something. Like, hey, what's up, Influencer Jake? We have somebody joining us on Twitch there.
Yo.
Welcome to the show. You're a little late, but we still appreciate you all the time.
I like his thumbnail.
That icon is sick. Yeah.
Yes,
that's
that
dope.
is cool.
But I wanted to mention also with the predictions, like the plot holes, bad storytelling, whatever you want to call it, all that'll get smoothed over time. Like 5 movies from now, we'll be like, what? WandaVision was a crucial cornerstone moment in MCU. We'll say something like that.
I never think any of them are not. Like I always assume they are. I they all age well, except for Thor, the first movie.
Yeah, you're right, except for Black Panther. You were correct.
That lobster door knocker is going to come back 3 movies from now.
He's going to be Mephisto.
Black Panther, unfortunately, cannot age as well as we would like now, but it still will age well. It will. Yeah. But do you guys want to check out the bingo card really quick before we go?
No, Ricky won.
Ricky didn't win.
Yeah, I did.
They never said Natalia. I didn't order you a pizza because they never said Natalia.
Oh.
Influence Jake wants to see it. Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do the bingo.
Let's do the bingo. Go. This is the last bingo.
No, it's not the last bingo.
No. Okay, sorry. It's not the last bingo.
Ricky, do the button.
I'm doing it. Doing it.
No, I think
do the button.
Oh man, I just want to say, everybody who just showed up right now in the Twitch, you're getting way more excited than you need to for this bingo.
Bingo!
Dude, I'm trying to manage your expectations right now, guys. I appreciate the enthusiasm, but yeah, we set up bingo cards for Ricky, Frank, and myself to see how much of WandaVision we could successfully guess based on our deep knowledge of the comic books. And none of us actually won. Ricky came the closest. And the only bingo card to change this week was mine, but it didn't. So yeah, we mark green squares as things that came up definitively in this week. Oh, I guess Jarvis did not, but I just forgot to unmark that one. But gray are ones that have permanently been marked, and yellow are ones that have kind of always been on the fence for us this whole season. And excuse me, I marked Dr. Stephen Strange as yellow today because the Sorcerer Supreme got named, I guess, kind of.
If
right?
if you get that, I get Wanda's parents.
Yeah, Vision got
What?
disassembled.
Natalia Maximoff is not, and I don't get that. I'm saying I marked it as yellow because I
thought
don't.
Yellow counts in this game.
No, yellow doesn't count unless you
Yellow's
make a really,
arguable.
a compelling argument is what it is. So your argument cannot be if you get that one, I get this one. No, you have to make a compelling argument.
A fair trade.
No, a fair trade would be if you have a square that's also Dr. Stephen Strange, and then if I argue for it successfully, what do you guys think?
Backsies.
Does the Stephen Strange one count?
Yes.
Yeah. No. Yeah, for sure.
What do you guys also
all
think?
the arguing?
not that this matters at all, but do you guys think that the House of M square counts also?
No.
No.
Sure. I think they actively made it a point to reference it.
I think this show was the House of M for the MCU. I think it really was. Like, I think it's Oliver. I think you're muted, by the way.
I was gonna say, what is House of M? I've heard when the whole Infinity thing going on, speculating that the House of M was the next thing. But if this was the next big thing, I'm very disappointed.
The House of M is a story where Wanda goes crazy and changes all of reality and reshapes it in a different image.
Oh, okay. Then that sounds like it.
That's what I'm saying.
Two big stories from now, actually. This one fits more like the miniseries, the West Coast Avengers miniseries.
That's fair. Yeah.
So yeah, I know I voted originally for it being House of M counting, but now I think I'm going against it. But I think they did make references to it, so I think that's fair.
Yeah, as just like they referenced a billion other things that never happened too.
Yep.
There's Frank's bingo card. I guess you just ruled out House of M for yourself there, Frank.
Yeah, I have that one up.
If you would have gotten Mephisto would have done it for you.
If Dennis gets Doctor Strange, I think you get the Grim Reaper.
House of Mediocre.
What? Why does he get the Grim Reaper?
The helmet was in the not trailer, the opening credits for
or half of Spider-Man's symbol.
Okay.
Or what's You're right.
I'm being generous with this bingo. Like,
I guess you are. It's fine.
You know what? Why don't we keep
the whole point was to argue. Let's have the guests decide.
Let's keep these as is and wait 5 or 6 more movies and three end credit sequences and see what happens.
You're not wrong, Frank. You're not wrong.
The minute White Vision opened his mouth, it sounded like a bit Ultron-y.
It sounded different than normal, right?
It sounded like Robert Frank, the Wizard. Like that's what it sounded like to me. And Shield.
Let's see Ricky's card one last time. What do you guys think in the audience? We put down Natalia Maximoff because that's the name of Wanda's mother in the comic books. And then for some reason in the show, they decided to rename her Irina Maximoff. I don't know if that's because they plan to have a Natalia show up later or because for whatever reasons behind the scenes, they just could not use the name Natalia. Do you think Ricky gets credit for this square?
Yes or no? Well, what does the panel think too?
Is Natalia Maximoff a mutant?
Okay, Clarke says yes. I say no.
Natalia Maximoff, I think, is the previous Scarlet Witch.
She's the witch. Yeah, she was the witch.
She's the witch.
So I think it depends if you meant her as Wanda's mom or if you meant her as the superhero person, previous Scarlet Witch.
I mean, I guess I did mean her as the mom, but I meant her as the very specific name. But I don't know.
Very specific person. Yeah.
Yeah. There's no reason why you'd say, "Oh yeah, her mom's gonna show up." Like
so what, yes or no, Oliver?
Yeah.
Oliver,
switching
what do you
to
think? Yes or no? No?
That's a valid point.
I'm switching to no because he's not saying Wanda's mom, like Wanda's dad.
So
He's
2
saying
yeses,
a specific person.
Yeah.
two yeses, 3 no's. Does Ricky's vote count?
I mean,
That's the same as saying.
It's the same reason we put Alkema or Eve or Layla Miller or Jonas or Virginia or any of those, because we had very specific ideas going in there. And I know we screwed ourselves on specificity. And I promise you, next week we're doing a Falcon and Winter Soldier draft, and we will be less specific in order to make sure somebody comes out of this
Superheroes
with some no
fighting.
Not that less specific.
Wings.
Sex joke.
See, but if we say no, then no one wins, and it's super anticlimactic. And you know what, Sea Cow Soda? I don't know if that's wrong, because that's pretty fitting with how WandaVision ended, right? So maybe no one wins this time around, because that's how it goes. And Frank can still do the kazoo if he wants.
We're all the winners.
Yeah.
The only kazoo song I want to do is. We'll see you at Shang-Chi's end credit scenes when they show Natalia Maximoff. And boom, that's when Ricky wins.
Oh man, I
love it. The chubby sidekick.
We just gotta wait for July.
Wong.
I loved it all.
What's next for the MCU? It's
Falcon and Winter
Soldier in 2 weeks. Black Widow.
No. Well, Black Widow, depending.
And then Nest of Raccoons in the theater attic.
Shang-Chi, Loki.
We got to wrap it up, Ricky. We're not going to list the next 20 movies.
Shrimp
Eternal Spider-Man, right? No, that's for this year.
Shrimp and potatoes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ricky, is this your girlfriend, Silly Cookie Love?
That's actually my wife.
Frank's wife.
She's a huge fan of Ricky.
Not supposed to tell Frank, but.
Oh yeah, no, she is. She is Ricky's girlfriend, actually.
Drama.
And with that, I think we got to get going, guys.
Yeah.
But would you like to share where people can find you before we go, Clarke?
You can find me on SoundCloud at Crane Waves.
Nice. Doing what? Just ASMR?
I read poetry. I put poetry to music.
Nice.
Among other things, and it's a lot of fun. So it's a growing channel. It is small now, but it's getting bigger.
Cool. And then Clarke, sorry, I already said Clarke. Oliver.
You can find me at the Salt Factory, shoveling salt all over WandaVision, and here at Den Excelsior.
Frank.
I'm actually a professional Ralph Boner impersonator. You could find me in Seattle, Washington, just showing my boner.
Oh my god. And Ricky.
Ricky the Nerd on Instagram, just posting photos of what I do.
And you could
AKA
find me
Silly Cookie Love.
Wow. And you can find me, Dennis, at Denx Media on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Just making videos about toys and talking about nerdy Marvel stuff. But yeah. And then also you can find us on Patreon, which is where we're about to go right now to do our after show, the Soapbox. But yeah, also at Den Expedia. Thank you to Oliver and Clarke for coming on our show. And thank you to our audience for tuning in. If you had fun, please remember to like and subscribe. We'll be back next week. And thanks for watching Den Excelsior. See you next time, true believers.
Chat was great tonight.